On top of that, I wrote a grant that I was able to get through the city of Chicago.
Wow.
So that they had a grant out at the time. I'm like, this had to be God, right? Because
Yeah.
they had a. I'm like, I just got the land, and then I see this grant out that's about redeveloping vacant lands in underserved communities. I'm like, well, I got land in an underserved community.
Yeah.
Let me apply for it. I applied for it, and then I literally was able to get the grant. So then I took that. We can be the change makers that we want to make. We just
Yeah.
kind of have to begin to start knowing about the resources that are out there in our community.
If you're looking to get grants for your business or nonprofit organization, then you're here for the right video. So the special guest that we have today, he's going to actually break down what he was able to do, how he was able to do it, and give you some tips along the way if you're looking to do the same for your organization as well. And I want to go ahead and introduce you all to Mr. Marlon Haywood. Marlon, are you with us today?
I'm with you. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Well, listen, I know, of course, you're very busy. You don't have a lot of time to kind of go into it. So first, I want to say thank you for actually stopping by the channel and giving the audience the gems on actually how they could do the same as you.
No problem at all. I'm glad to be here.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. So first off, Marlon, let's actually go into why you actually were pursuing a grant and why did you think you needed it for your nonprofit organization?
Well, interesting enough, right? I actually got laid off from my job
Wow.
about 2 years ago. So I was working for another nonprofit, and then got laid off. And so in getting laid off, and I was running Urban Mail Network full time. Not full time. I was doing it part time. So I was doing it after hours on the weekends, but the organization started to grow. So as the organization was growing,
Absolutely.
when I got let go, it then kind of like pushed me forward to where I felt like I had no choice, right? I still had multiple sites, young men that we were serving, and we still had all of this different work taking place, taking them on trips, doing different activities, college tours. So, the work doesn't stop, and the
Yeah.
need still needed to be met. So with that, that's what really pushed me to really start looking into funding and grant opportunities, because I had a vision and I knew that we had a need that we needed to kind of be met with the young men that we're working with.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing, actually. That's amazing. And you know what? I know that there's a lot of people probably watching this that essentially probably feel the same way you did. And it's like, hey, I got this idea, or I have this company, I have this nonprofit organization. Things are kind of, rolling. And I need to get some type of funding. I need to get some type of, of financial assistance, and that it could be in the form of a grant. Now, before we go too deep into it, you mentioned something very key. You slid it in there, and that's Urban Mail Network. So what is Urban Mail Network, and what is that all about?
Sure. So I'm the CEO founder for Urban Mail Network. So literally with Urban Mail Network, we are a male mentorship leadership development organization for young men between the ages of 11 to 24 years old. What we do is we offer social emotional learning support for them. We help them kind of really expose them to different career opportunities, connect them to mentors, work with them on looking into post-secondary options and opportunities. So, that's just a little bit. And we hire youth between the ages of 16 and 24 to work, for our organization to plan community events and programs directly within the local community. So these are just a few things that we've been able to do. And currently right now we're servicing a little bit over 350, and we have about 14 sites. So that is encompassing schools, community center, and churches that we partner with to offer, during the school day, after school programs, and our Saturday programs as well.
Wow, that's amazing, man. Because there's a lot of people that want to start something, similar to what you're already doing. And not only did you have the idea, but you actually executed on it, as well. I think that that's huge. And honestly, just leading by example. And for those who are watching this, now listen, he's a humble guy. So I'm going to talk about some of the things he missed out on. Okay. Not only is this, a male organization, but, the stuff that he does for these young men, especially, a lot of these kids, they're inner city kids as well, too. So living in Chicago, you know how things could be, and just making sure that people, again, know their options and, and stand, essentially away from all the distractions that are out here. And to do that, he's been taking them to Bulls games. He's been taking them to go pick out, just taking them to shoe stores, Foot Lockers and such, Nike outlets. Where I'm not sure where was that at, because I know I just saw a lot of kids with a
Yeah.
lot of shoes. Where was that at?
So we actually had partnered with Nike, the Nike
Wow.
store on 87 in Cottage Grove. So what we did was, it was a partnership between the Black Fire Brigade, Nike, and our organization. So we put it out there to all of the young men in our organization. We said there is a service opportunity for you to give back to the community. Now, what they didn't know is that any young man that actually signed up had an opportunity to go in the store and pick any shoe that they wanted. And so then we gave them $50 plus there was a free meal at Uwe. So they got an opportunity to eat some good soul food. So they had to get up at like 7 o'clock in the morning. I think we told them that we would be there about 8:30. But the purpose was to see exactly who will be willing to give back their time to help others. And then, once the young man who showed up, we not only gave them one pair, they was able to get up to 3 free pair of shoes. So any of the items that they wanted, plus the $50 in the meal. So that's where the partnership with Nike and the Black Fire Brigade came from, with that particular event, which was really great to provide support, for our young men. When it comes to you talking about the different activities, we did partner with the Chicago Bulls, where we did a partnership with IO Foundation and the Chicago Bulls to do like a skills basketball training camp over the summer. Young man, I want to say between like 6th to 8th grade. So that was really cool, a cool opportunity where they kind of got to meet an actual NBA player, work with them, and he was teaching them like in person, like hands-on, skills, how to dribble and handle the ball. The summer, through a partnership sponsored through the Obama Foundation, we, was fortunate enough to where every weekend we did a different activity. So we took the young men camping. We rented out the whole entire Sky Zone where it was just us within that facility. We took them to Six Flags Great America, Top Golf, main event, paintball. Every weekend it was a different activity, and the young man did not have to pay not 1 cent for this particular opportunity. So that was something that was really great. I don't believe in charging them, right? I believe in how do we create these opportunities, and I never want it to be a barrier that they cannot, attend because they have to pay for it. So, in writing these grants and connecting with government agencies and connecting with foundations, I've been able to really secure the funds to then provide the support. And the thing that I tell a lot of people, right, they come and I hear a lot of people say, man, I really want to do what you're doing. Well, I started doing this when I was in college, right? When I was in college, I was going to the local elementary school, local high school, and volunteering my time. Now, did I think that this is something that I would be doing full time? Now, I did not, right? I don't really I think I was trying to be a pharmacist. That's what I was trying to be a pharmacist, trying to go to medical school or something like that. I ended up becoming Dr. Haywood. I just did not become a medical doctor. So I became a doctor in education. So it's just a whole different way.
Absolutely. And you know what, man, I got to most definitely rewind this. This is Dr. Haywood. Okay. I got to put the respect on the time that you put into that, man, because I know that most definitely took some work. But not only that, though, right? Again, this is someone who has their doctorate, right? And they have everything in place. And yet you say, okay, I still want to pursue this because that's your passion. We could do anything for money. We could easily be the best, team player, for a company. And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes, when we do it and it's not about the money, then people can most definitely see that. And I've been seeing this, like you said, since the college days as well. And let me tell you guys something. Marlon slid in there about the Obama Foundation. Okay. No one can just, apply to work with them, get approved. And you actually had an opportunity to not only meet Obama, but some of the boys were able to meet him too. Was that correct?
That is correct. So if you go on my Instagram, it's there actually. A picture with myself and President Obama, and my young man did have an opportunity to meet him as well. And that is, I always tell a story about that one, is that my grandmother, before she passed away, she used to always call me her little Obama. Because she would always say that I'm out here like willing and dealing, making deals, as she would say. And it was very interesting because as I was leaving her burial, like I was literally at the burial site, and then I get a call actually from a guy. Actually, I'm really good friends from him from the Obama Foundation now.
Wow.
And he was like, "Hey, we have an event coming up. We'd love to kind of partner." with you. And, that was kind of really the start. It was a partnership for us kind of to connect our young man with the corporate leaders at McDonald's headquarters.
Mm.
So it was only like a weekend and away from there. But I look at that as a sign of just, even though my grandmother was no longer here, that she's still here with me. And then from there, we really built a great relationship. And, the Obama Foundation has definitely been very supportive of the work that we do and helping to provide support, and very appreciative of that. When one of our young men unfortunately got killed due to gun violence, it was the Obama Foundation that helped to, put up money towards the funeral costs.
Wow.
For that young man. So it's a lot of things that they do that people don't know. It's not always necessarily publicized, but appreciate the great work, through the Obama Foundation, President Obama and his team and the staff that they have over there, because they are connecting with community organizations like mine. And I know there are people out there saying, well, how do I do the same thing? And this is what I tell people, right? You can be doing the work, but if no one knows that you are doing it, then it doesn't really exist. So you have to literally begin to put yourself out there via social media, whether that's Facebook, Instagram. Start you a social media page that is dedicated to the work that you are doing or that you want to do.
Absolutely.
Create your website, right? Create your website, because the first thing that when you have funders that are looking to fund the work that you're doing, they want to know what is your website. They want to go to your social media page. And then if they can't find anything, but you're like, I do this work, but I don't do it to promote myself. It's not that you're doing it to promote yourself. It's doing it so then you can make more of an impact. You say all the time, hey, this is great what you're doing in the room, in the building, but you need to expand outside of it. Right now, we're in a global network via social media, whether that is online. That's how people find out about everything that's taking place in this world.
Absolutely.
I tell people, get your website out there, right? Take videos, take pictures. If it is just even started to like capture the moments of the work that you're doing, because you never know who wants to fund, who wants to partner. And for me, before I actually had an official nonprofit, I'll never forget, for years, I did not post. I had a friend of mine that literally said, hey, Marlon, man, I know you're out here doing great work. And you gotta start posting it. And then I remember saying, I don't want to post because I don't want people to feel like I'm bragging. Community work. And his response to me is that, there's so much garbage and negativity out here.
Just about to say that.
That people will love to see positive, like positivity. And you would be surprised that if you just put that out there, just the difference that can make. And I was just like, okay, so I just literally, what I started doing, I just started posting pictures. I started posting, videos. And even when I was speaking, I started just throwing it out there. And before I knew it, I literally had people that was reaching out to me and said, hey, I see that you got a mentorship program at this location. Would you be willing to literally come to my school and start here? So then what happened is that people started to see me as the expert when it came to male mentorship.
That's right.
You just said something key, right? If you're passionate about it, the money will come.
Absolutely.
So here's something that I now do full time. Something that I was just volunteering, but I was consistent. And there are some people that they have a vision, they have a dream about something, but the consistency is not there. And then when they don't see the results right away, then it becomes discouraging. And they say, you know what, I can't do this anymore. They want to give up. And that's the key thing when it comes to community work, trying to get funds, document the work that you're doing. Create the social media page, create your website, and then if you can create you an official like email tag. So for example, I have my email, I guess it's just shout myself out, marlon@urbanmailnetwork.org, right? MarLon, where it's like if somebody asks for my email, I then now have an official email that is not necessarily just saying marlon@gmail.com. Now I'm not knocking somebody who may have that. It makes your business seem a little bit more official, especially to funders, when you have the website, you got the email, and you got an official business page for your nonprofit and organization and the community work that you are doing.
Man, that's huge. Listen, I hope you all have been taking notes, because he's been dropping gems along the way. And these are things that, again, like he said, that if you're looking to get that grant approved, or if you're looking for, a company essentially should just say, hey, listen, this makes sense. you have to show proof that not only do you have everything in place for the nonprofit, but I'm sure the proof that you were able to say, hey, we've done this in the past. We did this for the boys. We've done this for the organization. I'm sure that played a role, as well. Let's talk about that though. So now with the starting process, if a person says, okay, I want to start the process of getting a grant for my nonprofit organization, what's the first step that they should take?
So, and I've actually been kind of working with different people who are trying to
Yeah.
get this right.
Yeah.
The first step, no matter what state that you're in, I would say that they can even start simple. You can do grants.gov. That's free, right? grants.gov. You can start
Wow.
there.
Okay.
The next thing is that really take a look at the organizations that are currently doing the work in your city, in your state, right? So look at organizations that are very similar to yours, or even maybe look into a whole nother state.
Mhm.
What you can then do from there is go look at the 990. The 990 is public information that every nonprofit has to file when it comes to who are their funders and who are supporting them. Then what you can do is, whether you want to look at their 990, you can also go to their website. You go to their website and then see if you can find information about who is currently sponsoring them and the work that they are doing. And then once you see who is sponsoring them, and then you can say, okay, like, let me see how I can then, really apply or then approach this particular organization, this business, or this government agency to then support the same type of work that I'm doing. Understand how, if you're trying to get started, there's so many ways. So for example, right, government funding, the city of Chicago, through the Department of Family Support Services, for organizations and agencies that are looking to do work, youth work, they fund these, organizations and agencies to do, similar work that I do right now. But I know that, for an example, but a person who's starting out may not know.
Yeah.
The city pretty much put out what is called RFP, so request for proposals.
Yeah.
RFPs pretty much is where now you are contracted to do work with the government. That's another way to where that helps to put out, push small businesses.
Absolutely.
To kind of get people hired locally from the community, the government, from the state, local, and the federal level. They want that. They want people to kind of go out to get these particular contracts. But the thing is that when it comes to federal dollars, I think it's a very small percentage of minorities that are getting these federal dollars and getting these federal contracts.
Right.
Then, so you got Cook County,
Yeah.
you get the city of Chicago, and then you have the state of Illinois. So these are, you got, even with the work that I do, you have the Illinois Department of Human Services, IDHS. They fund youth work, they fund mental health work. So it's looking into how do you get your organization to be government certified. To become government certified, you can then now start going after these larger government grants, contracts that can then sustain your organization to where now you're getting a larger amount to do the work, and you can hire the staff. You can, pay for rental of a facility and a space, right, for the next 2 to 3 years to continue. This is how you begin to build on it. See, the thing is that when I ask a lot of my young men, like, how many of y'all want to be entrepreneurs, right? Everybody raises their hand.
Everybody.
Ask them the question of, how do you see yourself being an entrepreneur, or what type of entrepreneur? The majority of them say, start a clothing line business. Or, that's kind of the first thing.
Yeah.
Or, hey, maybe I want to open up a club.
Yeah.
But because they have never been exposed to understand
that's right,
what it means to truly be a business owner, and then how you can truly make money. Everybody can open up a clothing design business. I'm not knocking anybody that is doing that, right?
Yeah.
But to really open up a business where you are funded through the government, or you have the government as a client, that's next level, right?
Yeah.
Because then the government's going to pay. The government got money, unless we get a shutdown. But 9 times out of 10, the government will pay. And these are ways that when we're talking about truly changing our community, we have to become knowledgeable and enlighten ourselves on another thing, Cook County Land Bank, right? Like we secured land and a building through Cook County Land Bank. The Cook County Land Bank, for anybody that doesn't know, like, in any state or city, they have what's called a land bank. The land bank then acquires these properties where people fell behind on their taxes, and then they buy the properties for cheap, they put them back, right, like on a market, but at a very discounted rate because now
Mhm.
they want to start gaining and getting in taxes from them. Well,
Mm.
in a lot of these underserved communities, they have land bank properties all around, right?
Mm.
So whether if you're looking to try to get into home ownership yourself, if you're trying to be a landlord,
Yep.
or you just kind of need something for your business, or you're looking for a space for your nonprofit, right?
Yeah.
These are places that you can start looking to see how you can get a very discounted property,
Yep.
and from there get it through Cook County Land Bank, get the loan to renovate it, and then now
Mm.
you're renting it out, and then now that's another stream of income. Let's say if you get a
Wow.
two-unit building, or if you get a single-family home, like
Yep.
there's so many different avenues and ways that if you begin to start figuring out how you can connect with the government through grants. So, for example, the land that I received in Inglewood, got it through a donation through Cook
Mm.
County Land Bank. I was very fortunate and blessed to be able to get this land. On top of that, I wrote a grant that I was able to get through the city of Chicago.
Wow.
To that they had a grant out at the time. I'm like, this had to be God, right? Because
Yeah.
they had a. I'm like, I just got the land, and then I see this grant out that's about redeveloping vacant lands in underserved communities. I'm like, well, I got land in an underserved community.
Yeah.
Let me apply for it. I applied for it, and then I literally was able to get the grant. So then I took that, redevelop this land into a safe space for youth in the community. So it's possible, right? And it
Yeah.
can happen. We can be the change makers that we want to make. We just
Yeah.
kind of have to begin to start knowing about the resources that are out there in our communities.
Absolutely, man. Listen, listen. See, just being around this guy, you gonna get just the conversation alone. All right. So again, he just dropped the whole list of places, not only to where to get the grants, what they're looking for, and the types of things that you all could do with those grants if you're serious about your nonprofit organization. Now, of course, we got that list. You talked about the county could potentially give you money, the state could potentially give you money, the city could potentially give you money. There's so many resources. Then you mentioned about how every county has some sort of a land bank. So taking full advantage of that, they want, and that's what, and we, like you just mentioned, they really want people that have organizations like yours that are true, to what they're saying that they're doing, and they're actually doing it. That's what that money is really there for, to be honest. What are some common mistakes that you see people make, or maybe some mistakes that you've made when you were essentially applying for grants?
I think that you cannot assume that every funder is going to then perceive or want to fund the same thing. So,
Mm.
for example, like, one particular funder, where if you wrote one application to fund youth development summer fun activities for your kids, well, then another funder may not necessarily want to fund fun activities. They want they
Mm.
want they want to feel like, oh, we want the more meat,
Yeah.
the meat and the potatoes. So
Yeah.
they say, well, can you give me mental health? How
Mm.
are you helping them with job placement? How, where all of it is intertwined and it's
Yeah.
all working towards the same good. But
Yeah.
one funder may want this particular thing, and another one may want something different.
Yeah.
So it's really understanding the grant application,
Yeah.
and what they're asking for. Really, take the time. I think sometimes I would just jump right in, and then I wouldn't really. They, like a lot of these funders, they would have calls, like
Mm.
Zoom calls or webinars, to kind of go over what it is they're looking for. So now I try to take the time to jump on these webinars to listen in
Yeah.
on what it is that they're asking for.
Yeah.
And then a lot of things too that I've learned. It's all about relationship building,
That
right?
part. Yeah.
Where it's not just about who you know, but it's
Yeah.
about who knows you, and then what they think and feel about you as well.
Mm.
So really taking the time to build relationships with people, where when you're applying for a particular funding opportunity, they already kind of know who you are. They are familiar with your work. That's very helpful, right? Just knowing the people and the funders that you're applying for,
Yeah.
and then building those particular relationships. So relationship building is key.
Yeah.
You also have to be mindful about what you post, what you say. I think
Mm.
sometimes people get into the mindset of that I'm an individual.
Yeah.
It's a free country. I can say what I want to say. Well, no, you can't, right? Because you just
Mhm.
never know about who may be the reviewer on that particular application, what they may have saw that you posted, that you put out there,
Yep.
and that type of stuff can definitely affect you when it comes to them looking to give you dollars, for the work that you're trying to get them to fund.
Wow, man. Listen, listen.
Yeah.
This right here is the play that I hope you all are listening to, and that's making sure that you are doing your due diligence and really setting the expectations. Not only for the person, not for the actual funder, right, but then also for you receiving it. Like you mentioned, we're in that social media world, and things that we say, things that we do, it most definitely it sticks to us, and especially when you're saying, "Hey, trust me with your funds and with my brand as well." So that is, man, that's an amazing story to hear. That's another thing I wanted to touch on as well. So now, is there a certain amount that people should kind of set their expectations for, or essentially, like, for example, if a person says, okay, I want to get a grant and I want to get 5,000, 10,000, what's a realistic amount based on your experience that a person could potentially get with their nonprofit organization? And then how much do you think is available out there that a person could get? Is there a limit on that?
So here's the thing, right? There are organizations that are bringing in millions of dollars.
Wow.
That is, and I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, if you have the structure in place,
Yeah.
you have the people that you can show that you're doing the work and that you can financially, like, you have a system in place to handle the finances of the amount of money that you're requesting, then people don't mind giving you that amount of money. It's just a matter of, can you handle, because there are some grants they do about reimbursement, which means that you have to then pay your staff up front. Then after you pay them up front, then you submit for reimbursement on the back end. So you don't necessarily get everything up front. You just show them that you're paid. You show your receipt, ADP system, whatever you may have in place, your QuickBooks, and then you submit that for reimbursement on the back end.
Wow.
So that's just kind of an example for there. I would say, I think a lot of time people would just say, "Oh, I just need $5,000, $10,000."
Yeah.
Or challenge an individual to think bigger, right? Dream bigger. Begin to write down and say, you know what, in the perfect world or the perfect scenario,
Yeah.
in order to fully run a program that I need, then write that out and what that looks like. So do you need a building? How much would it cost? Are you looking to own a building versus rent? And if so, how much is this going to cost per month? If somebody came and asked you, here's the thing, right? If you, I just told somebody this earlier today. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Absolutely.
Right? So, and the thing is that because if somebody come and asks you, how much do you need to fund your vision? And then now you got to think about it. You should already have everything documented and ready to go, because you would be surprised at how sometimes just putting the idea on paper, putting everything into place, you'll be like, wow, like things that just start falling into place piece by piece. So what I'm saying is that if you know, right, like, okay, I need this much for rent for this particular building.
Yeah.
I need this much for staff. I need this much to fund, let's say, activities for my youth. And then I will need this much. I'm looking to possibly purchase transportation. Well, what you can do is that as you start looking at different funds, you can look at different funders, different opportunities to fund these different things that you have put down that you need. So maybe there is one grant that can then fund the rent. Maybe there's another funder that can then fund the activities. Maybe another grant that can then fund your personnel. So like, if you have everything, before you know it, you then built up the empire that you need. That's by doing piece by piece.
Wow, man, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So you guys heard it directly from Dr. Haywood on this, and he just broke everything down. And again, you may say to yourself, "Hey, listen, I'm thinking, I think I need 5,000. I think I need 10,000." One, he said, make sure that if you are always ready, right? If you stay ready, you don't have to go get ready, right? And you should be ready. You should know what those numbers are. You should know what you need, because you never know what opportunities may present themselves, especially if you're always, going at it. You have to be ready for those opportunities. And again, Dr. Haywood, we greatly appreciate you taking out your time, carving out your schedule to actually be here to speak to the audience today. Now, I'm sure people are going to have some additional questions. I'm sure you got some stuff coming up, things of that sort. But what's the best way for people to contact you or to reach out or follow what you're doing? Is that on Instagram?
Instagram. You can definitely follow me on Instagram, message me via Instagram, or even contact me via LinkedIn, which is just, I think it's just Dr. Marlon Haywood. If you type that in, my name should come up, Marlon. Then last name Haywood, Haywood. But you can contact me there. And yeah, LinkedIn, Instagram is definitely great places to start.
Awesome. Awesome. I just added that LinkedIn in there as well for you so you guys can go ahead and write that down. And listen, Dr. Hayward, he's been busy with his nonprofit organization amongst other things as well. So we'll most definitely keep you all posted if he does come out with some more information as far as grant writing. So again, if he can do it, then you all can most definitely get that accomplished as well. And thank you so much, Marlon.
Thank
We
you.
greatly appreciate your time today.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.